Hi, Gail here. Welcome to Life Coaching with Gail. I'm mother, grandmother, and great-grandmother. So I've lived a little bit of life and I've managed to navigate through a lot of my life's problems. And I want to share that with you in different ways over different amounts of videos. So welcome to Life Coaching of a personal nature, whatever you're going through personally, in your relationships and your situations in life. And I can help you navigate through those. So also you have an intuitive side, psychic side, and that can be interesting to navigate when you have things happen that are unexplained and unexpected. And then you also have a spiritual self who is your true self. Your spiritual self is your true self. And your spiritual self is constant, always there, just covered up by your human behaviors, your human perceptions of yourself, your characteristics that you have inherited. So today I want to talk to you about maybe the personal side of your life. My previous video, if you've seen it, is about my very first breakup. I have had 3 major significant breakups, relationship breakups in my life, and other heartbreaks of other kinds. There is a difference I have noticed between my very first breakup at 19 and 18, 19, got to remember, and my next relationship when my children had grown, and more recently a relationship I have gone through. Now these relationships were, the first one was for 3 years, second one was for 22 years, and the third one was for 24 years. So there are tips and there are ways to be able to deal with breakups that can make it less earth-shattering and less profoundly impacting on you. It is life-changing. You will change who you are. You will become a better and more improved version of yourself. Generally, we always have a choice. So we can choose to take the nasty path, or we can choose to take the hold your head up high path. And just because I've been around for a while, I have come to find that there is nothing to be gained from going down the nasty path. It is temporary in its gratification. It hurts you. You feel that hurt when you're nasty. There's a little bit of a reprieve, and then you feel horrible. You feel bad about what you've done, what you've said. So, just saying that through my experience, I have tried always to be the person who could decide in the moment whether or not in 5 years' time I will think this is a good move or not. And generally, if I'm emotional and angry and upset, I can pretty much guess that in 5 years' time, I pretty much wouldn't be proud of that action or those words. And so therefore, in a mindful moment, I can choose to do something maybe a little more effectively, a little bit differently. It is a bit of a rule that I have adopted myself, that if you are emotional and if you are in emotion, it is better to retreat, to withdraw, to say nothing, to wait for another day, wait for a better time, wait until you've actually really thought about exactly the message you want to put across, and in a more effective way than if it just blurts out. So that is number one. That is a number one way tip to deal with things. Reality is you got to look after you. If you are going through any kind of breakup, even if it's after a short relationship, you must look at what is going to help you in this moment. And I can tell you, it is nothing hateful. It is nothing hurtful toward another person. That will not help you in any way to feel justified, to feel vindicated, to feel less betrayed, less hurt, or anything like that. It, in actual fact, tends to add to those feelings, particularly as time goes on. You carry those feelings, and then those feelings build, and then they carry on into another relationship. And you transfer all of those feelings, doubts, fears, worries, concerns with you into that relationship. And then that relationship becomes a similar scenario to your first relationship, because you are actually creating that without realizing it or not. You actually are unconsciously creating it because you're afraid. So what we're afraid of, we try to protect ourselves against. When we protect ourselves, we don't allow ourselves to actually feel the experience, to involve ourselves completely and deeply in the experience. And you deserve that. You deserve to feel that joy, that love, that excitement, that, I don't know, that time where there's just wonderful. You deserve to feel wonderful. And if you're feeling bitter, sad, worried, doubtful in any way, whether it's about yourself or about the opposite sex or your divine partner, then you're going to sabotage it. And we just do not want to do that. So my second relationship was with the same person as my first relationship breakup. The reasons were, one, I was pregnant. Two, I was in a time period where one did the right thing and fitted into the traditional norm of the time. And so I went along and I did the right thing and married the child's father. I loved the man. I loved him, and so it was okay. I did not feel I diminished myself in any way or took second best. I had been very accepting of just being on my own and raising the child on my own. But when I was presented, and there's a previous video to this if you want to actually listen to that, I decided to marry him. And we had, as I said, we had 22 years together. And we got on with married life and we did a lot of things together. We were great partners. We had projects. We had things that we were involved with, things that we were doing. We both worked, and that was actually frowned upon. In my day, I was frowned upon for working when I had young children. For me, I needed to have something that was different to just raising children. I recognized I did not have the maternal instincts that maybe others had, and is in the same way, and I needed to have a bit of space so that I was a better mother. If I had, I can't even imagine, I can't even start to imagine how much of a horrible mother I would have been if I felt that I could not go out to work, and if I felt stuck. I wasn't, I was very highly strung. I was nervous. I did not know the right things to do always. And yeah, and one of my children needed a lot of my time. So going out to work gave me that break where I came back, I reset, and I could be and do what a mother was needing to be and do. And so we had a reasonably happy life together. Well, we did. We were happy. It was, you have friends, you build up social circles. Ours were all around my partner's work, and so were our friends. And so when he, at a stage in his life, felt he had done his job, we'd raised the children, he was ready for something new and something different. I took it very, very personally, as I feel that we women definitely do. I took it personally, and I had to do a whole lot of self-searching and a whole lot of thinking, and I had a lot of time to do all of this. I chose, when he said he was leaving and that there was somebody else, I chose to leave the family home and give him space to think, I thought, to decide what he wanted in his life. I felt I was being quite noble. We do these things and we look back later. So I did that. And many, many, many years later, he said to me that I had left him at the time he needed me most, which by that stage I realised was a whole bunch of hogwash, actually, because he was with this person and he's still with this person. And so therefore it was that they were meant to be together for whatever reason. But I know what the reason was. The reason was I needed to step out and do my spiritual work that was so close to my heart, as in I talked to God from the time I was small, and that was my lifeline. And so I needed to trust, have faith, allow myself to be guided. That was tough for me. I was an A-type personality, and I was do, go, get it right. It was important. Okay, strive to succeed. Da-dee-da. So I was put in a position where it was like, there's nothing there. Friends were gone, social connections were gone. It was, my children had gone. I was me, just me, on my top, by myself. And when I finally returned to the family home, I opened the door and walked in, and the house literally screamed at me with its emptiness. It had always been a very full house with lots of teenagers and lots of activity. And it brought back to me a poem I wrote when I was 11. And when I was 11, I wrote about the sound of silence. Now I realise that there's a 60s song, The Sound of Silence, and I don't know actually whether I got the title of the poem from that or not, but I do remember writing about it. I remember the poem being good enough to be put on the wall at school, which was like, wow. And I actually experienced it in the physical. That actual sound of silence was loud, very loud. So I couldn't stay in the house very easily. I made myself go into the house. But you have a lot of different experiences when you have a breakup after many, many years. You have literally put yourself together with another person, and it is you and that person become one. So I had my own work. I had some interests, but most of my interests were his interests and shared interests. And so when you break up, you literally break that heart that is the two of you apart. And that takes a bit of time to actually find another part of the heart. And you know what you do? You actually find that in you. So this is where you get to love yourself, and you first have to like yourself. Every bit of you, bad, ugly, whatever, it helps you in some ways. My anger helped me speak up, and inappropriately, but then once I recognized it was trying to help me and not hurt me, it helped, and I then could speak better. So when you have a long-term relationship breakup, you literally are half a person. So there, how do you find that other half of yourself? You look inside. What did you like when you were a child? What did you enjoy doing when you were a child? What did people say that you did well? Just start doing those things. Start, and you won't feel like doing anything. Heartbreaks are the most words, there are no words, are there? Because heartbreak is devastating. It is as if your whole life has come to a stop, an end. And it actually has in some ways. That part of your life has come to an end, but you are always left with something. This is the thing. You're always left with yourself, okay? And you're left with whatever you had that was just yours in a relationship. So getting to that, our generation, not so much, but now everybody, you've got your own lives and things. You've got your own interests. You've got your own friends. And that means you're already partway there. At times like this in your life, if you break up, it's look at who's standing by your side, who's reaching out to help you. These are your true friends. These are the ones that will be there through thick and thin for the rest of your life, no matter what. And they are the ones you want close by your side. So you are the person that you now must relate to. Talk to yourself. I do this all the time. I walk around talking to myself so I can hear a voice to my ears. Then I don't feel quite so lonely. If I'm just talking in my head, it's like just me, okay? But if I talk out loud, and yeah, you can talk to yourself and talk back to yourself. I know that used to be said in my day as a sign of crazy, right? Then I've been crazy my whole life. But it actually has saved me to be able to talk and hear a human voice, even if it's my own. But I've gotten to get used to a little bit with my voice. And it's nice to be able to tell yourself nice things. It's just like sometimes I go, stop that. That is not working. That is no good. What are we going to look at next? Or think about this. Or what are you going to actually do? That's a good one. What are you actually going to do? Can you do anything? Then don't say anything. If you can't do anything, it's not worth talking about. Okay? The answer will come if there is something to do. So breakup number 2 for me was enormously life-changing, enormously devastating, and enormously impacting on me as an individual. I had always been part of, I had always acquiesced to another person or other people, and here I was. I'd always been, like looking after other people, and there I am, there's nobody, and it's just me. And that for me personally took a couple of years to transition through. During that time, like I said, I was more allowing myself to be guided. So I had talked to God my whole life, and I was asking for help and asking for guidance, and I was needing to be extremely patient. I had been 150 kilometre an hour, go, 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 go kind of person. And I was sat on my tot, and I was so much empty space and so much time that everything was, a minute was an eternity. It got better gradually. It would then be a day, and then it would be a week. But it was very, very gradual over a couple of years. So it's to allow yourself to sit with yourself. Hardest thing for me was actually to be able to sit with myself. That actually was scary. You might think that, how could that be scary? But it was. I didn't know where I was going. I didn't know what was coming next. I didn't know where to find help. Any of that. I had to review things myself. I had to look at things around me. I had then to, and this is for everybody, when you're in that space of feeling lost, feeling like there is nothing left in your world, everything is happening around you. If you have the eyes to see it, sometimes you do have to just sit quiet with yourself to see if you can actually feel comfortable, not in your sorrow, but comfortable in you, your skin, who you are. Okay? And you're probably way, way more confident than I was ever confident. You probably know a lot more about yourself than I. I knew nothing about myself. I know what I've been told about myself by parents and other people, but I'd always argued that anyway because it didn't sound like me, but I still didn't actually know what was me. So often after a breakup, it is time to sit, assess, look at you. Who are you? What do you want now? What are you going to do now? What do you have in front of you that is possible? And the reality is maybe you can't see it, but everything is possible, okay? Absolutely everything is possible. And what I would say to you is take one day at a time, stay only on that day, do something where it is something you would do in a normal routine, that is something that you would fill your time with normally. I do a lot of walking, I find, and I have done this in the past. It is something that has really helped in a lot of different ways. Before the second breakup I'm talking about, I did a lot of triathlon training. And I was probably in the best shape in my life. So I knew it wasn't about that I'd let myself go or anything. And really, it's never about that. The person who leaves you has got some problem that they must find a solution for, okay? Always, every time. If their problem is that they're bored, or that, in my case, that your partner feels like he's done the hard yards, he's raised the family and now he wants to have a little bit of something different, something new. If your partner is feeling his age and is realizing he's not young anymore, and he's feeling he wants to grab hold of some of that youngness and vigor again, then he will go and do that, or she will go and do that, generally for different reasons. It is not you. It is they have not found a fault in you that's been too hard generally. It's simply, it's time for a change. And you are just the one that is dragged along with that change. But that also means you're ready. If one person leaves you, it means you're ready for something new and a change. And I'll talk a little bit more about that later in my next video of my last breakup, and we will just see where we go there. secret is you are the most important. You are the one to discover more about who you are. You have something to share. You have something you are not doing, okay? That is useful. And if you have underestimated yourself for your life, then that's why, okay? So I am a life coach. I am also a psychic and a spiritual person. So if you ever would like a one-on-one session, any problems, all problems are solvable. There is always a way to navigate through things. And if ever you would like to do that, my contact number is 027 4166 545 New Zealand. And on that note, take care. Life has a lot waiting for you.